however much money you think you need to start a business, just times it by 10 because you're wrong. Like whatever it is, you're going to need more capital than you think you need. And it's really important you find great partners to support that journey who are kind of aligned with the vision, see where you want to go, and want to support that growth. Because when you're playing in a space with corporate giants like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Frito-Lay, et cetera, it's not an inexpensive game.
Business Casual.
From Morning Brew, this is Business Casual, bringing you conversations with people you know, and some you may not know yet, to make business less intimidating. Because money talks, but it does not have to be dull. I'm your host, Nora Ali. Now let's get down to business. Hey, BC listeners. We are kicking off a new series called CEO Shorts, where we bring you bonus conversations with the founders and CEOs of some of the most fun and innovative companies out there today. First up, we have a marshmallow entrepreneur. Mike Tierney is the CEO of Stuffed Puffs, fluffy vanilla marshmallows that have been filled with delicious confections like milk chocolate. It's sort of like a handheld s'more that you can enjoy anywhere. Mike began his career working in the kitchens of restaurants including the French Laundry and 11 Madison, and has since gone on to launch 2 brands over the last 6 years. Stuffed Puffs are currently sold in 33,000 retail locations nationwide, including Walmart and Target. Our chat with Mike Tierney is next, after the break. Understanding finance is like always having gum in your pocket. It can help you out in a lot of different situations. Real Vision's video on-demand platform can help you grasp the key finance concepts and themes that affect your wallet, your investments, and your future. Members can watch daily videos and analysis, access an archive library with over 3,000 videos for all investor levels, and attend in-person and virtual live events. You can watch Real Vision anywhere on mobile, desktop, smart TVs, and more. Start your free 7-day trial with Real Vision today. Visit realvision.com/businesscasual. That's realvision.com/businesscasual.
Hey, Nora, how are you?
I'm so good. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. I mean, who doesn't love marshmallows? And this is going to be a really fun little lightning round Q&A with you and Business Casual. So if you don't mind, I'd like to start with a little icebreaker. I know you've worked in different kinds of office settings, whether it's restaurant kitchens, traditional offices. What is your biggest workplace pet peeve, if you have one? It could be from the culinary world or the corporate office world.
I think they cross over well.
Okay.
Disorganization. So one thing that you learn really quickly working in 3 Michelin star fine dining is that everything has a place and everything needs to be clean. And that is a rude awakening for the manufacturing world. So I think I turn people on their head a little bit with that, but I think it serves us well.
Yeah, it helps set you apart. You're more organized than others around you, perhaps.
Exactly.
So, Mike, how would you describe Stuffed Puffs for those who haven't come across them yet?
Sure. Real simply, it's a marshmallow that already has the milk chocolate on the inside. So when you roast it for a s'more or you make one in the microwave, it melts from the inside out.
It is a genius idea. And the website says, quote, "We know no one was asking for a better s'more, a chocolatier hot chocolate, or a tastier sweet snack." So if no one was really asking for this, except maybe you in your personal experience, how did you pitch this idea in the first place?
So it's funny. No one may have been asking for it, but what we heard so frequently when we first launched was, "You stole my idea." And I'm like, yeah, I get that. And that's honestly the highest form of flattery is like, oh, you understood what we were doing immediately. That means we were doing something right. We didn't have to spend all this time educating someone to buy something that they didn't see a need for. And so pitching it to retail was very similar. You'd show it to retail partners and they'd go, "Why hasn't someone done this before?" And you're like, "I know, exactly. That's why we're here." So that's kind of how that's gone so far.
And that must be very validating, as you pointed out. But there was a reason why other people hadn't done it before. In fact, one leading candy executive had told you that they tried doing this before. They said it was impossible. They spent millions trying to do it. What makes your approach different? How did you figure out how to properly stuff those marshmallows?
So actually, a lot of people told me that. And though we launched at retail in 2019, I started this business in 2012. And those first 7 years, the stuff you can't see under the iceberg, was all trying to reinvent something that everyone said couldn't be done. I think the benefit for me was I had no commercial big scale manufacturing background. So I didn't know that things had to be done a certain way. And coming from the fine dining world where the food that you're making is so far past, what you can buy in a grocery store from a technology, from a process standpoint, from a creativity standpoint. So I looked at this and I was like, if I can do it by hand, there's got to be a way to do this commercially. And so when I went to build this commercially, I mean, I started at Home Depot. I was like, all right, I'm just going to buy a couple things and make a hand crank version and then start to automate it and then, find the right commercial partners to build us some full scale size equipment. And so I think the beauty of it was I wasn't constrained by knowing too much. I came into this with like a white sheet of paper and I'm like, there's no rules. We can break anything. And I think that's how we kind of overcame the problems everyone else saw.
Yeah, we've been hearing that more and more where if you come in as a quote unquote outsider or someone who doesn't have preconceived notions, that allows you to try things that other people might not try. So that seems like it worked out for you. But Stuffed Puffs isn't your first foray into the consumer packaged goods space. You also started Mikey's, which I was looking through the website, looks great for someone like me who has a lot of dietary restrictions. What did you learn from the experience of building Mikey's?
Well, it's an interesting dichotomy. On one side, we're like very clean label, very healthy, nutritionally focused. And then Stuffed Puffs is unapologetically indulgent. Like we just want you to have fun, have a good treat yourself to a great piece of candy. But I learned so much from doing the Mikey's business and business is still growing because I did everything by myself for the first few years. And so I was the accountant, I was the graphic designer, I was our social media coordinator, I did our supply chain and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so when you get to touch every facet of the business as it goes, from zero to let's say $5-6 million a year in sales, that was about the point we brought in private equity and then we went and built Stuffed Puffs. As we built Stuffed Puffs from zero to, a $70+ million company this year in sales in 2 years. And now we're about 200 team members. As you're hiring people and our team's expanded to 200 plus, you know a little bit about everything. So you're just dangerous enough to bother everyone, as I think I've been told too often. But it also gives you great context because in my role now, you're like air traffic control, right? You're not doing every little thing. You're kind of supervising everything. Yeah. But to be able to pivot from one discipline to another, from accounting to creative to engineering to supply chain, like that is a really helpful skill set. So I'd advise anyone to make sure that they've touched every part of it so that you know what's going on and you're not hiring people who can pull wool over your eyes.
Yeah, the questions that you need to ask at least, even if you don't have the answers.
Yeah.
So,
you know what to look for.
Exactly. So I have to say the Mikey story video on the website is one of the best about us videos I've ever seen. It's really great storytelling, honestly. How important is storytelling when you're trying to grow a brand, whether it was Mikey's or with Stuffed Puff?
I think it's a huge part of it. I think especially how media has changed and how we as consumers consume media. I'm a consumer too. A lot's changed in the last 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And there was a time where Gillette could do the best a man can get and they can ride that campaign for 20 years and just pour money into it and it works. And I think we are in a space now where consumption of media is so high that people have become numb to brand advertising. I mean, you've seen it with the transition of people from Facebook to Instagram and then Instagram to TikTok. And then as people start to advertise on TikTok, I think we'll see another platform, jump up and drive it. So I think being a brand that has a personality, that has the ability to talk to its consumers like a person instead of just a brand, is really important.
Yeah,
today.
and I would love to hear some specifics around that with Stuffed Puffs because the branding is very s'mores focused, as you might imagine, and that is a summer, it's a seasonal treat generally. What has been the most successful when it comes to branding and strategy when you are trying to sell it all year round and not just for our, summer parties?
So I think it's two parts. One is communication in the store. So we spend a lot of focus on point of sales materials, talking about hot chocolate, whether it's on header cards or it's on hang tags or other types of POS material. But then it's also in our media. So we push recipes pretty heavily. We want you to see all the different ways you can bring stuffed puffs into your kitchen. And we've kind of got two ends of the portfolio now. So on our lay down pillow bags, our classic milk chocolate, chocolate on chocolate, cookies and cream, it's all about being an ingredient in something you do, right? So a marshmallow is an ingredient in a s'more just as much as an ingredient in a hot chocolate or Rice Krispie treats or some of the other fun things we make. And then on big bites, the idea is instant consumption. So you don't want to make a s'more? Great. We've made one for you and you can just rifle them down out of the bag. And so a lot of it is communicating what the product is and what our usage is. But like Mikey's, we've had a lot of fun with it too. I don't know if you've seen our TikTok lately, but I've been running around with a flamethrower making giant marshmallows, and it's a lot of fun.
I didn't know that. That's amazing.
Yeah, you got to get on
check
that.
it out.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you did say in an article with Food Business News last year, to me, this isn't just about s'mores. This is a technology platform. What does that mean exactly with Stuffed Puffed? What is the innovation, when it comes to stuffed marshmallows and beyond?
Sure. So I think there's a lot of places that Stuffed Puffs as a company can go, maybe not necessarily as a brand. So Stuffed Puffs as a brand is all about that indulgent, treat yourself experience, very confectionery focused. But there's a world parallel to that where we can do low sugar chocolate, low sugar marshmallow, and make an all natural version for the Whole Foods Sprouts of the world. If THC CBD ever flips legal, Puff Puff Puffs is not far without of reach. Yeah, the character will have bloodshot eyes. He'll be a lot of fun. And then even in the nutraceutical space, as you've seen nutraceutical gummies expand so prolifically over the last couple years, they can only handle water-soluble vitamins and nutrients. And so we have a platform that would give you the ability to do complete spectrum because we've got a fat-based system, chocolate inside of a marshmallow. So there's all sorts of things we can continue to innovate on beyond just the Stuffed Puffs brand with the technology that we
I cannot wait for Puff Puff Puffs. That sounds so good. That's an amazing name.
There's a couple regulatory hurdles to get through, but one of these days, we'll see
Mike, do you have any
there.
advice for aspiring entrepreneurs who are looking to enter the food and snack space, whether it's, broad advice or advice on how to get distribution? Because that was a huge thing for you guys, getting into Walmarts and Targets, now sold in over 33,000 retail locations. What's your best advice for those who are just starting out and trying to get as big as Stuffed Puffs?
I think there are a couple of things. I mean, I think you have to make sure that you pressure test your idea. So we made sure with Stuffed Puffs that we had a pretty defensible moat in the marketplace. If you've noticed, no one's been able to knock us off yet. That's a nice moat to have. And that gives you some white space to run and grow. And then I think the best advice I could give anyone is however much money you think you need to start a business, just times it by 10 because you're wrong. Like whatever it is, you're going to need more capital than you think you need. And it's really important you find great partners to support that journey who are kind of aligned with the vision, see where you want to go and want to support that growth. Because when you're playing in a space with, corporate giants like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Frito-Lay, et cetera, it's not an inexpensive game.
Great advice there. Okay, Mike, before we let you go, we have a special bonus segment called Shoot Your Shot. So we want to know, what is your moonshot idea? This is your wildest ambition, your biggest dream. It could be company related, personal related. It could be Puff Puff Puffs. What's your moonshot? Shoot your shot.
Puff Puffs is a cool one. I don't know. I mean, Stuffed Puffs itself has been my moonshot. I've been working on this thing for 10 years, and we're still going. And the first 7 of them were some dark times. So, I mean, I think I'm living on my moonshot as we speak.
You're not tired of marshmallows at this point?
No. I mean, I eat marshmallows every day. It's we do a tasting every morning. It's amazing I'm not 500
What's your
pounds.
favorite way to consume marshmallows?
So I think the best way to eat a Stuffed Puff is a microwave s'more. You put one on a graham cracker, 7 seconds. Doesn't matter if it's snowing outside, sunny outside. You've got this, less than 50-cent treat that is just delicious. And most marshmallows
Yep.
like blow
Oh,
up in
yeah.
the microwave. And if you put a block of chocolate in there, it gets hard and gross. Uh, Ours, it wasn't even by design; it was almost by accident. But they just melt so nicely, and the chocolate melts, and it's like stays within the graham cracker, and it's just a perfect treat in less
I've
than 10
always been on
seconds.
team microwave s'mores over campfire s'mores, and it sounds like you agree. Microwave is best.
Yeah, microwave got a
I
bad rap
know.
somehow, but it's a great product.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining us for this lightning round on Business Casual. We appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Nora.
This is Business Casual, and I'm Nora Ali. You can follow me on Twitter at Nora K. Ali, and I would love to hear from you. If you have ideas for episodes, comments, thoughts on episodes you loved, even fun segment ideas, feel free to shoot me a DM and I will do my very best to respond. You can also reach the BC team by emailing businesscasual@morningbrew.com or call us. That number is 862-295-1135. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to Business Casual on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. And if you like the show, please leave us a rating and a review. It really, really helps us. Business Casual is produced by Catherine Millsop and Bella Hutchins, with special production help on this episode from Olivia Mead. Additional production, sound design, and mixing by Daniel Marcus. Kate Brandt is our fact checker. Sarah Singer is our VP of Multimedia. Music in this episode from Daniel Marcus and the mysterious Breakmaster Cylinder. Thanks for listening to Business Casual. I'm Nora Ali. Keep it business and keep it casual.
Business casual.
If you like what you saw and you like what you heard, you can listen to the entire episode of this podcast, Business Casual, anywhere you get your podcasts. And please go ahead and subscribe to the Morning Brew YouTube channel and go ahead and click on that alarm bell, that thing right there, so you can be alerted anytime there's a new video.